Welcome back to the G&M podcast. My name is Josh, and unfortunately we have no guest for today, but that's alright. Today's episode is about the impact of streaming on video game marketing. So video game marketing, especially nowadays, is geared a lot towards, specific communities, and one of those big communities that they'll target are streaming communities and streamers specifically. Because if they can catch the attention of a streamer and make them want to play the game, then there's a chance that they will play it on their stream, or if they have a YouTube channel or something, they might upload it, like footage of them playing the game to YouTube or whatever, and it would increase the reach of your game, so it might reach people that otherwise might not have heard of the game, and it would give them more reason to look into the game and maybe end up buying the game if they think it looks interesting. Another thing game companies will do is they'll sponsor streamers, or they'll give them early access to games, again with the hope of them playing it on their stream or uploading content of it for the same reason. But doing so, again, just allows them to reach audiences they might not have been able to before. And if people see their favorite streamer or YouTuber or whatever playing a game, chances are they're going to be more likely to want to look into a game and maybe eventually purchase it if they see that, someone who they like to watch is really enjoying a certain game. One other thing that games might do is the use of rewards or Twitch drops. So I know a lot of times in esports especially, but not always, even just for sponsored streams or things like that, games will enable drops or rewards for people who watch streams of their game. So I know Rocket League has done it, Fortnite's done it, I think Rainbow's done something like that, and I'm sure plenty of other games Sea of Thieves as well. But yeah, plenty of games have done it, and it's not really new as of recently. But what the companies will do is, if you watch certain streams for certain periods of time, for Rocket League, it'll usually be if you watch for 2 hours or somewhere between 2 and 4 hours, you'll get an item in the game. Sometimes it'll tell you what the item is, sometimes it'll just be random, but it gives people an incentive to watch streams and to watch your game, because if you watch someone play the game, you get these rewards, you don't know, and you think the game looks fun, you'd be likely to buy it, and then you'd get the rewards as well from having just watched the stream. Or if you already have the game, then you're more likely to go watch streams because you can get those rewards in your game that you've already purchased. So, for example, with Rocket League again, if you, the drops, it won't tell you what you get, so you could get an item that's cheap, that would be worth 10 cents, or that could be worth $100. You don't really know what you're going to get, but it gives people a reason to watch it, and they do a lot of promotion of their streams. Rocket League has their own Twitch channel run by the studio itself, so by having this reward system and having a lot of advertisements within their game, if they have a stream going on and the main menu of Rocket League, there will be a little icon, like, right above the play button that will say that, like, a certain event is going on, and it will, like, also beneath it have a button that will send you right to the stream. So a lot of companies will, like, do that just so that people, because otherwise people might not know that, like, those streams exist. Like, that's how I sort of found Rocket League esports, was because I saw these pop-ups in game that said such event is going on right now, so you should watch the stream. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know what that is. So, I mean, clearly that kind of marketing works. It caught my attention. It brought me into the esports community, and yeah. So, I think streaming has a lot of pull on video game marketing, because if, like, as I mentioned before, if you can get a streamer to promote your game, like, you don't even have to, like, pay for it per se, because even if you don't sponsor a streamer, if a streamer just was like, oh, I saw this game and it looks cool, so I'm going to play it, if you can market it and they can, like, they think a game is interesting and they want to play it for themselves, and they decide, like, hey, this looks fun, I'll play it on stream, or I'll upload a video of me playing it, then you can, again, you'd get free marketing essentially, because this popular creator maybe is promoting your game without you having to pay them to play the game, without having to give them access to the game before anyone else. Basically not giving them any kind of special treatment, but they just thought the game looked cool, and so you're getting free promotion from that. So because of that, I think streaming does have a lot of pull on the marketing of video games. So looking into streaming and figuring out how you can use that to your advantage as a, like, marketing team for a game studio could be really helpful, because you can, like, again, reach more audiences than you might have been able to before, and you might be able to, get some free promotion out of it if you can get some creators to play your game without having to pay them or anything. So part of that comes down to having a good marketing campaign to begin with. Like, if you have a game that just looks bad, then there's a good chance that a streamer wouldn't accept the sponsorship. They wouldn't want to play a game on stream. So obviously the base, like, fundamental is having, like, a decent quality game that, like, someone might actually want to play. It's pretty important to begin with, because if it looks like a really bad game, no one's going to want to play it. And if no one wants to play it, then it's pretty hard to, sell your game. So having a good game is important, and knowing your target audience as well, because if you give your game to a streamer who normally plays storytelling games or like RPGs, and you just give them an FPS game, but they don't, like, usually play that, so their community isn't, like, used to watching FPS games or whatever, then it doesn't really make sense. Like, it would make more sense to, like, give that to an FPS streamer. So knowing your target audience and knowing the audience of the streamer that you want to promote your brand is pretty important, because you don't want to give it to someone who plays a completely different genre and can't, like, fully appreciate it, perhaps, or that doesn't have a community that would be as interested in your game. So you can't just give it to streamers willy-nilly. Like, I mean, you could. It just might not end as well as you might hope. But being able to, like, figure out what your target market is, who your target audience is, what your target, like, demographic is, and being able to find streamers who have similar audiences, like audiences that would be within that target area, then you can try and give them the game, have them help with promotion, And even if it's not like giving them the game for free, you could even have them like feature in an advertisement. Because I know like some streamers that I've watched, they've been like, oh, I was in this ad recently, and then they've played it like on stream to show the ad that they were in. And doing that as well helps your brand, because you're, again, they're showing your ad to more people. It's just spreading your brand more than it would have possibly had the streamer not shown it, right? So knowing your target market is important. Finding streamers within that target market is important. And yeah, so I think as long as you sort of follow that, you should be able to have a decent outreach, at least, with your marketing campaigns. And also just having a good marketing like strategy. So you're not like, if we go back to the episode earlier, I believe it was probably episode 4, that was the really bad marketing campaigns. You're not doing something like that. You're not making something really dumb or inappropriate or just overall really stupid. It should make sense. It should seem like the person who made it is competent. And yeah, so I wouldn't put all of your faith into just, giving streamers money and your game and hoping that people will just buy it because of that. Like, obviously, that can't be your main source of advertising, but I think that it's a good, like, option. Like, even, like, I wouldn't use it as a main option, but if you did that, like, as well as making ad campaigns and whatnot, then I think it would be a good way to increase your outreach and increase popularity of your game, and hopefully eventually make more sales because of it. So that's about it for this episode. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. So in conclusion, just to like summarize everything, don't be stupid. Have a good campaign. Streamers are good as long as they fall within your target audience, or their audience is similar to the target audience that you're trying to appeal to. And overall, just don't rely solely on it. But if you want to use that as a way to expand your outreach and hope to reach more people than just a regular ad campaign might, then I think that streaming's really good for that, as long as you know what you're doing. So that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.